Today is day 3 of turning this van into a fully built out camper. I did a couple of things last night to kind of prep for today. I didn't show this in my last video, but I got these puck lights up. It was as simple as, connecting the negatives and the positives. And then I also put another panel up on the ceiling. I still have one more piece I need to get in. It's sitting right here. I haven't trimmed it yet, but I am ready to get started on the next thing. So today's project is to start building the kitchenette and cabinets that are gonna go along this wall. So last night I spent like an hour and a half just drawing all the lines on this board to match my SketchUp design, which it's just an original design. Hopefully it comes out all right. I haven't built it before, but the template is here. So I'm just gonna go for it. It is a lot of precision cutting, which is kind of annoying, but hopefully it turns out really nice and we'll have a really nice payoff. So I'm gonna pull this into the backyard because I don't really have space to cut it up here. And we'll get that cut out. It'll probably take a little while just because there's so many pieces on there. And this isn't even all the pieces. I do have another board that's also, this is a 3/4 inch ply. And I still have some other components that I need to get drawn out and then cut, of course. And then I'll have to go pick up a third board because I basically just estimated how much I would need when I first went to Home Depot. But once I started drawing the designs out, I realized like, oh, I'm not gonna have enough. So at some point I will need to go get another board, but I wanna start getting these cut out and then probably some attached, kind of get it fit in the van, make sure that I got all the dimensions and things correct and that the design will actually fit. I measured a bunch of times, so hopefully there's no issues, but we'll see. I'm using these 2x2s to elevate my plywood so I can cut it, and then I can just adjust the depth of the blade on my saw to work with this space. All right, here we go. One down, a lot more to go. I have all of those cut out and I'm pretty happy with how I minimize the scrap that's left over. I might end up using those pieces for some other small things, we'll see. I thought that I'd go ahead and start attaching some of these and like getting the structure actually built, but I'm gonna go ahead and just do the next board. It's not as, I don't enjoy it as much. It's like not as fun. But you'll see the SketchUp design that I did and see kind of the process of how I got those drawn out the same way that I did on this board. I'll do for the next board. This took, it's like an hour and 15 minutes to get all those cut out because I was going like kind of slow with it. I did want those lines to be straight and I don't have like the best tools or the best variety of tools, I should say. So there's certainly some better options if you're doing a project like this, but I'm just working with what I have and it'll work out fine. So here's what I'm working off of. This is the design that I've come up with. And it's all kind of funky different colors because I have all the pieces drawn out. So this is like the plywood sheet. This is the one that I did already. And then this is the second one that I need to draw out right now. And then I just color coordinated it because it made it easy to see like which pieces I had drawn out and which ones I still needed. So, I mean, you can see this red one. That's pretty important for this section that I'm doing right now. Because I figured I'd do this section first and then make sure it fits, see if I need to make any changes or, extra cuts, whatever. And then do the other half after that. So before putting that first section together, I figured it'd be good to have that face piece cut out. So let's get all those drawn. Another hour and a half later, and I have that all sketched out. I don't know how well you can see that, but got all the marks drawn. Let's do some more cutting. I have these all cut out now. Here's my little pile. For this face piece, I still have to cut out like the spots for the shelves and cabinets. So I'm gonna use the drill to make some pilot holes and then use the jigsaw to cut all of those out. Today has not been super exciting as far as van progress goes, but that piece is cut out. I'll definitely need to do some sanding once I start getting these assembled. I ordered a pocket hole jig, I think that's what it's called, from Amazon. I haven't used one before, but I'm gonna try it out for these cabinets. So I'm gonna kind of get organized a little bit because it is obviously a mess. All right, here's my pocket hole jig. It seems to be built pretty well. It was kind of cheap on Amazon, so we'll see how it does. Because it's adjustable depending on the width of the wood. So I'm just gonna test this out. Oh, I need another drill too. And when I do the actual cabinets, I'll be putting wood glue on this as well. But just for the practice run, I'm not worried about that. These boards also aren't completely straight. They didn't come together perfectly, but I mean, that is solid. And it looks really nice. Of course, all of my pocket holes are gonna be on the inside. And you can also get like pegs to fill the holes with, and then you like trim the excess off and you can make it look completely smooth. I'm not super worried about that just because of like the way that this will be constructed. The holes won't be visible anyways. But yeah, let's try out some bigger pieces. All right, let's see how this goes. I think I'm gonna attach the screws on the end, and then the board might be a little bit warped. So I'll make sure to get like the corners flush, and then, you know, do the screws in the middle. It is kicking out just a little bit, which is kind of what I expected. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of pressure on that to get it flush on this side as I screw it in. Nice. Obviously very professional techniques here. Looks good. Show you the other side too. Got it nice and flush. And I'll of course be doing a bunch of sanding once I get this all assembled before I paint it, because I'm, you know, gonna want to have it nice and smooth and cleaned up. Probably have half an hour of daylight left to see how many pieces we can get attached. I think once I get a good flow too, it should go pretty quick. It's just kind of a new thing using the pocket hole jig, but not difficult at all. So should come right together. This next piece is actually getting attached to 3 different walls because it's gonna sit like that. And so it'll be screwed in here, screwed in onto the face, and then screwed into the other board that's gonna go here. So I need to pre-drill all of those pocket holes. Get some glue on here, and this should be absolutely solid once it's done being constructed. All right, we got some structure. I want to get this test fit in the van before I overbuild it too much. I'm also not sure the best way to do this. So, we'll just go for it. And try to not scrape the ceiling. I don't know if this will work. Why did I think that would work? That doesn't work any better. I'm probably gonna have to cut the back corners of these, or try the side door, I guess. Yeah, let's try the side door. Seems like a future Nate problem, so I'm not gonna worry about it right now. But I probably am just gonna have to cut the back corners of that, and then reattach them or something when I put it in. A little bit of an update for you guys. I think today is technically day 6 of working on the kitchenette. I've spent the last 2 days kind of slowly assembling the other pieces. And I was getting ready to record yesterday and then sliced my thumb open. So that's been great. And then I lost all motivation to record. But let me show you where I'm at right now and what I'm working on next. We'll get back into it. This is the first piece that I started with assembling. It's looking good. I'm pretty happy with it. And then this is the other section that I've got assembled as well. I don't think I recorded any of this. And there's gonna be like a movable sink here. So this is basically what I'm focusing on today, is getting that sink built. And this has all been assembled 100% using pocket holes. That jig has been super sweet with just how simple and how effective it's been to assemble this. And it's all, I don't know, the same process for everything. I don't want to show cutting every single piece of wood and like screwing in every single piece, but I don't know, it's a balance, right? Like the video would be so long if I did that, but I still want to show like what I'm doing. I don't know, I'm figuring it out. Oh, I should show you with this piece, when I was trying to fit it in the van, the longest length from the top to the bottom of the face, that is the height of the inside of the van. And so having the back corner in there, I mean, you can see it's angled now because I cut off the bottoms on the back. And then I built, this is just another frame piece that's gonna sit under it. So this will go right in like that bottom section. And then I'm gonna screw the walls here onto the bottom of the walls on that. And that should just kind of re-piece it together once it's in the van. And then I also have the pieces that I cut off, wood sliding. The pieces that I cut off, I'll also screw back on there. And then I'll use some like gap filler putty and I'll close it up. Anyways, it'll look like I never cut it, but should turn out just fine. So let's see, the next thing that I'm gonna do, I have this piece here and it's gonna sit basically right there. It's not perfectly lined up, but this piece is gonna have some arms attached to the inside here on both sides. And then the whole thing is gonna come up and pivot and drop down out of the back of the van. So it'll give me a sink that I can use outside the back door if I'm not in the van, but also be convenient if I am in the van. So before I get to cutting the holes for that, to attach those metal arms, I am gonna cut a little bit more off the back here. I realized I changed my design and forgot to add a piece. But basically this opening here is gonna be for the drain hose and then also the hose for the water pump. But when the sink is opened up back here, I need that hose to be able to drop down just a little bit. So I'm gonna cut about 4 inches out from right here. That way those hoses can come out. I don't wanna disassemble this, so I'm just gonna use a jigsaw and just wanna get some lines sketched out just as a general guide to follow. I also know there's a couple screws hiding in there that I don't wanna accidentally cut out. Might be kind of tricky to cut out with the jigsaw, but I don't know, we'll see. It's not perfect, but I think that'll work just fine. The arms need to be attached to the same spots on both sides. So I'm referencing my SketchUp design here so that I can see exactly where those holes need to be. And this is all kind of theory, I guess. I mean, I can draw it and I can kind of visualize how it's going to come together, but I don't have like a tested. I haven't done it before, basically. So I'm just kind of seeing if it'll work, and I think it'll work just fine. But we'll know when we get there. This is that top piece, so I need to go make a mark 1 inch down and 1 inch over, and just make sure that they match up on both sides. And now I need to figure out where the 4 other marks are. So the arms are going to attach, the base is going to be on the base of the kitchenette, and then the other 2 arms are going to attach to this moving piece on top. So we'll have 2 holes on each side of here, and then 2 holes on each side of the base. I would say my main goal with drilling these holes is to keep them as parallel with the frame of the kitchenette as possible, which could be a little tricky. And I think I'm actually gonna have to draw them on the other side, because for this bottom hole, the drill kind of gets in the way. The first hole that I'm gonna drill is going to be with a small drill bit, and basically be a pilot hole for the bigger drill bit, because I just wanna make sure that it's as precise as I can be with it. Now that I have those pilot holes drilled, I need to match up my drill bit to the size of this bolt, because that's what's going to be going through those arms. And I'm going to drill these holes from the outside because it makes it a little bit cleaner. The side that I puncture through on generally gets a little bit splintered, so I'd rather have that on the inside than the outside. Those holes are all good to go. Got the ones down there. The next thing I'm gonna do is use a bigger drill bit, and I just wanna cut like a 1/4 inch into each of those holes on the outside. That way, when I put my bolts in, I'll be able to cover up the heads of them and make it flush with the wood and make it look like they're not even there. Basically, it's just a way to hide them. I've got that test fit in there and it's looking pretty good. Should be flush with the board. I'm gonna get the rest of those drilled out, and then we'll get those bolts all attached. So there's a washer on the inside, and then there'll be another washer on the outside, and then a nut on top of that. Maybe 2 of the nuts. I can't remember the spacing that I had on the design. I need to get a measurement for how long the metal arms are gonna be. So I'm actually gonna put these bolts in backwards real quick, just so I can, it'd be easier to measure the center point on the bolt than it is the center point on the hole. I don't know if there's a more efficient way of measuring this. I do have it drawn out on my design. The only problem is, like this wood and the exact spot where I drilled the holes, like there's so many variables that could change that I want to measure the actual space rather than just the designed space. I'm gonna guess 11 5/8 should do the trick. So I'm just gonna cut one arm first, and then I don't know, just kind of see how it fits on there. Like I said, it should be the same on all of them. It's time to replace the blade on my angle grinder. That was a super ugly cut, but I'll end up trimming it again, so I'm not worried about it. Need to draw out the holes on there and then get them drilled. The same way I did with the wood, I'm gonna drill a small pilot hole before using the bigger drill bit, just to make sure that I get that right where I want it. Oh, you know what? I don't know if it'll fit because I haven't trimmed the edges yet. I guess even if I line it up on the outside, like I know it's going to be pretty close to correct. We just won't know if it's perfect until I actually attach it to the inside. But it fits on the outside, so I don't know. Might not be perfect, but I think that's pretty good. As long as I do the others the exact same, I think that's going to be the most important thing for like the functionality of it. Because if they're not the same length, then they'll get jammed on each other. But let's get the other three cut out and see how it comes together. I don't know if I got the spacing right for those arms. I think they're just gonna be too close together, like once I get them mounted on there. But I think if I stagger set them, so instead of aligning them the same distance from the board, if I put an extra nut on one of them but not on the other, I can get them to basically like overlap. So instead of sitting like that, or they'll be offset. So instead of sitting like that, I can have them overlap just a little bit as long as one is higher than the other. I don't know, or I may just have to recut them because I'm trying to get those holes as close to that wall as I can, but still have space to screw a nut on there. So I'm gonna get some of the bolts set in here because those aren't gonna move no matter what. So I think just like having them set in place will help me to identify how I should adjust those arms. And then I might recut some if I need to. In my original design, I had these pieces flipped so that the flat ends would be basically laying against each other. Since the spacing for where I drilled the holes on those arms is not, I guess, perfect enough, or there's just not enough space for them to fit that way, I think it'll work fine just like that. I'm gonna get the other two on here and just see kind of how it moves once those are all on there. It's obviously not super well supported because it only has the one side attached. It'll make a big difference too once the countertop is attached to that because it'll keep the top squared and those ends won't be able to move separate of each other. So I'll finish getting those cut out and then let's see how it looks. It kept bugging me that the top like wasn't staying square, so I did put this strap on it and I've got those arms on there. So all four of them are done and attached. So this will come up and then essentially out of the back of the van, just like that. It'll have the sink set on top of it. And I still need to get some struts attached to that. The struts will stop it from like opening too hard or like closing really hard, because just the way it is, it wouldn't work great. And I don't know if I'm gonna use one or two, but we'll put one on there and then see how it does. I might need to use two just to keep the pressure equal so it's not pushing or pulling hard from one side. And it's also, you can see there's a little gap there. It's pushing up a little bit, but the weight of the counter will hold that down. I think it's just because those arms aren't, they're not perfectly the same size. They're all pretty close, but somewhere something's not aligned properly. But the like I said, the weight of the counter will correct just that tiny bit of extra space there and should hold it no problem. So I'm gonna play with the struts a little bit. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna attach them as far as like the spacing goes. I still have to figure that out. But yeah, once I figure it out, I'll show you. show you what I got going on here. Okay, so the bottom of this strut is screwed into one of the arms, and then the top is attached to the wood. And I played with this design just a little bit on SketchUp, just to kind of get an idea what would work. And I also didn't know the exact size strut to use. So the sink might not have as big of a range of motion as I was originally expecting it to now, but it definitely is functional. So that'll, you know, pop out the van 1.5 feet. And if the edge of the van is here, you'll be able to use that on the outside. And then I'll have like another cooking station set up. Obviously this will be, you know, 2 feet higher, probably up about where my hand is, which should work just fine for standing outside the van. So I'm gonna get the other strut on there for sure, because this does still close pretty hard. Got to get those tightened. Hopefully, yeah, it's still a little wobbly, but I think that's a good placement for where the strut is at. And I kind of just eyeballed it, but I wasn't sure exactly how to attach it. So I think it came out pretty good. Depending on what the counter that's going to be on top does for it, as far as like the shape and going in square, I might have to trim these corners a little bit, just so it goes in a little bit smoother. Not a ton, but just the smallest amount to kind of direct it, because it is a little bit wobbly. Yeah, we'll see what the other strut does, and like I said, we'll see what the counter does once that's finally attached. I'm probably going to split this into a couple videos, because I've recorded quite a bit. So this might be the end of the video, but I'll get the other part posted, and these will be completely finished up with paint and counters, and I'll get the cabinet doors on it. So it should be looking pretty good. Thanks for watching.